We've had two finals. We have one remaining here this afternoon. It's for the road racing rocket ships. The KZ final, their third round for 2017, is about to go green in a few moments' time. 22 laps, 30 kilometres. And starting on pole position will be the driver who has dominated the last 12 months of KZ International Racing. Paulo De Conto is the reigning world champion. He won the Race of Stars at the end of last year down under. He won in North America. He won the first round of the European Championships at Sarno in Italy. He won the second round at Genk in Belgium. He didn't take pole position. Moraine Kramers upstaged him in qualifying yesterday morning. However, he took 3 heat wins from 3 starts here this weekend. He starts on pole position. We spoke to the driver from Treviso in northern Italy, Paulo De Conto, just a few moments ago.
It's the best start of the year. We won the first race and then also the second race. We had a little problem in the second race after the heat, because in the last heat I get the front fairing penalty, so I lost some point, but it's still okay.
We go from the super quick circuit in Sarno to Genk in Belgium. Now we move to Spain. It's a very technical track. What do you think of the Fernando Alonso circuit?
Yeah, we find the three completely different track. So we started from Sarno, which is really quick. Genk is really technical, and this is the between. It's really fast and really technical. Something we can make better in this track, but in the end I like. This year with the new rules, they changed the tires. In the beginning was not really good, but now from Sarno we find the right way, and then we continue like that.
Reigning world champion and series leader, best of luck for the European Championships here in Spain, Paulo De Conto.
Thank you.
The number 4 CRG will start this one on pole position. It is still very dark and overcast here at El Circuito. Fernando Alonso. Yeah, we might have given something away. We didn't speak to Paulo just a few moments ago. It was actually earlier in the weekend because you saw the blue skies in the background. That's how we had free practice and qualifying. This magnificent complex, which was built by Fernando himself, who is watching on live. Buenos dias, Fernando, over on the other side of the Atlantic. Just had a quick word with your father, Jose Luis, who is the president of the Fernando Alonso Foundation here in Spain. Thank you for hosting us. The third round of the European Championships, and best of luck for the Canadian F1 Grand Prix in Montreal a little later on today, certainly North American time, as we prepare to race the KZ final. You're looking at Paulo De Conto. Everything he touches turns to gold. He will start this one on pole position, the number 4 CRG. Left of your screen, to the right of your screen, Jeremy the Jet Iglesias. There is the Frenchman. He gets off the line like a top fuel dragster. If he can get away and lead De Conto into the first corner, we will have a race on our hands. The number 3 driver, or the number 3 kart, Iglesias, won the last round of last year's European Championships. Hayek, Patrick from the Czech Republic, he starts out of grid number 3. He won the corresponding race, the European Championships, when we raced in Zuera 12 months ago. There's Moraine Kramers, the fastest qualifier, the young Dutchman, who's fresh off a trip down under where he raced with the Patrizi course team at Monato. And he took pole yesterday morning and had a fair run in the heats. He starts this one out of grid number 4 in the number 20 Birrell Art. Well, we said Iglesias was quick off the line, even getting away. He was quick leaving the pre-grid as well. He actually had to wait for De Conto. That was mildly amusing, actually, and actually waved the Italian through, who will line up on pole position. Let's take a look at the grid for you. De Conto, kart number 4, the CRG, will start this one on pole position. There is the Suzuka S's, this beautiful green circuit, just a few miles south of the Bay of Biscay. which leads into the Atlantic Ocean, where this inclement weather is blowing in from. DeConto will start this on pole position. Iglesias on the outside of the front row of the grid. Second row of the grid is Patrick Hayek in the Cosmic, and the fastest qualifier, Marijn Kremers. Bas Lemmers, the newly crowned WSK Supermaster Series champion, alongside Luca Corberti, Anthony Abbas, and Felice Tiani, the former World Cup champion, on the fourth row. Then all the way from the USA, Gary Carlton. He starts alongside Simo Puhaka. Gary in the second Formula K kart. Stan the Man Pex on the podium at the last round of the series, alongside his world champion brother, Jorit Pex. The final row of the grid is the 2014 European champion, Aret Rezen, alongside the wildcard entry from this round, Alex Irlando. And unfortunately, David Foray, the four-time world champion, joins the reigning European and three-time world champion Marco Ardigo. Both those drivers not taking the start this weekend due to injury. It is a small field of 14 drivers, but it is oozing with class. I don't think there's a driver out there that hasn't claimed at least an international title, if not a European World Cup or World Championship, including the reigning world champion on pole position. Kart number 4, Paolo De Conto, leads him up past the La Morgal Aerodrome here in Oviedo. There it is in the background. The Fernando Alonso circuit winds its way around the airstrip here, which saw quite a few recreational flights take to the air yesterday. They go through the Palma chicane, designed by Fernando himself, reminiscent of the legendary Palma circuit in northern Italy, where he raced many a time, particularly in the Andrea Margutti Trophy, when Fernando was a Mike Wilson team driver in the days of Formula A, ICA, and even Super A. His last race, Marienburg, the World Championships in 1999. Kart number 4 on pole, kart number 3 on the outside of the front row of the grid. De Conto versus Iglesias. Irlando pulls into position. At the back of the grid, there's Aret Rezen, also the 2014 European champion. We're ready to go green. 22 laps here, the KZ final. Iglesias does indeed rocket off the line, but it's not a bad start from De Conto. Iglesias tries the outside line, but the reigning world champion leads them down into the chicane for the first time. A good start by Kremers. The Birulat up into P3. Into the aerodrome hairpin. It is De Conto, Iglesias, Kremers, and then the Cosmic of Patrick Hayek. Bas Lemmers in the Sodi kart. A good start in position number 5. In through the Suzuka S's for the first of 22 times. Paolo De Conto will lead. Jeremy Iglesias, he will try and make a move as soon as possible, possibly even into the next right-hander. A little bit slow out of that corner. He ran a little bit wide. The track is still quite greasy. De Conto rockets out of that hairpin, and Kremers loses a little bit time as well. So they try and get heat into the Bridgestone tyres through the Palma chicane for the first time. De Conto, one kart going through. One kart going through as Iglesias goes through into the lead. Jeremy the Jet in the Formula K kart has taken the reigning world champion. Can De Conto respond? Up into the aerodrome hairpin. Iglesias closes the door. Two of the finest racing drivers in the world, and I don't put the word kart in front of that. I mean two of the finest racing drivers, full stop. Jeremy Iglesias and the reigning world champion, Paolo De Conto. De Conto will need to get past him as soon as possible. Iglesias, one of the hardest drivers in world motorsport. De Conto's up behind him, up the inside. Iglesias closes the door. The Formula K kart leads the CRG. De Conto's got a battle on his hand for the first time this weekend. Kremers runs in P3. Over the ripple strips they go. De Conto loses some time that time. Down the straight they go. Look at Iglesias. Let's check the times. He's got half a second on the reigning world champion. Kremers doing a nice job in P3. Then we go back to Abbas, the first of the Saudi karts. Hayek, Lemmers, Luca Corberti, the lone green machine here this afternoon. Or light green machine because it's a bottle green Formula K kart that leads. Gorbetti in the Tony kart, tucked up behind Felicitiene, the driver from Naples in Italy, the former World Cup champion. He won that title actually here in Spain 5 years ago. Iglesias, we know he is dynamite off the start, and look at that. He now leads the reigning world champion, Paolo De Conto. This will also give some hope to Kramers, who's running in P3 in the Birrell Art. Here they go through the Palmer chicane. Kramers, Abbas, Hayek, Lemmers, Tiene, Simo Puhaka, the rest of the field follow through. Stan Pex, Carlton, Irlando, Jorit Pex, and Rectresen also airborne from Jeremy Iglesias. Oh, he took off like it was a World Rallycross car down through the chicane going into turn number 5. The gap's down to 0.3 of a second now. They go through the Suzuka Resses. They've done 3. This is lap number 4 of 22. The field snaked their way through this amazing complex here at the Fernando Alonso circuit in Oviedo here in Spain. De Conto, the TM-powered CRG. Iglesias, a similar power plant, but he's driving a Formula K kart. De Conto's close to the back of the Frenchman now. Will he make a move into the Palmer chicane? No, he elects to sit in behind him. He's quick coming onto the straight. Lowers the blind on the radiator. Maximum airflow going through to that 125cc TM power plant. Here on lap number 5, producing somewhere close to 50 horsepower. Into the aerodrome hairpin. Is he too far back? Well, he's got time. He's got 18 laps to make a move. That's a passing opportunity right there. No need to panic for the reigning world champ. Through the Suzuka Resses, then it's Kramers. Currently 3rd step on the podium. You get the feeling, though, De Conto's just waiting for the moment. Iglesias knows it. He's one of the hardest drivers to pass in world karting. He closes the door. This will give hope to Kramers also. De Conto. De Conto up the inside again. Iglesias goes defensive. He put the gap out to half a second. A shake of the head that time from Iglesias. Not happy with the exit. Oh, up the inside into the Palmer chicane. There goes De Conto. The reigning world champion takes the lead. Iglesias, can he respond? He will try. He's tucked in behind the CRG. Down into the turn 3 chicane. Watch the Formula K driver. He cannot afford to let De Conto slip away. Through the turn 5 sweeper into the aerodrome hairpin. Kramers is close right up on this battle as well. Into the Suzuka Resses. This is a part of the circuit that De Conto actually owns. He's as smooth as silk through there. Everyone else smashing over the ripple strip. There has been a lot of talk about the curbs here this weekend. And if we're honest, a lot of people have been complaining about the curbs, the ripple strips. I'll tell you something. The driver who leads the race, Paolo De Conto, barely touches the ripple strips through the Suzuka Resses. He's already pulled out, look, 4 kart lengths on Iglesias as Kramers. The Dutchman closes in on the back of the Frenchman. Good run that time, though, from Iglesias. 139 k's an hour down into turn number 1 for these KZ karts. Hayek back and forth, head of Abbas, Lemmers, Tiene, Puhaka. Stan the man Pex, and Alex Irlando, the Italian, rounds out the 10. That time De Conto was a little bit ragged, proves me a liar. And in fact, look what it's done. He touches the curb and Iglesias closes up a little bit on him that time. De Conto knows it, keeps his head forward though. Doesn't flinch. Kramers closes in on the back of the Frenchman. Can the Birrell Art driver from Holland take the fight up to the reigning world champion as he did at Genk in Belgium just a few weeks ago? Into the Palmer chicane. Again, a good run from Iglesias. This race is not over yet. Down the inside. Oh, Jeremy Iglesias fights back. The Frenchman leads. We thought De Conto would run away with this one. Jeremy the Jet Iglesias, the Frenchman in the Formula K kart. He has been threatening all year. He now retakes the lead from Paolo De Conto. De Conto shoots back up the inside. Kramers watches on in P3. Patrick Hayek, he's just that too far back to take advantage. De Conto and Iglesias, they trade positions. The track is still dry. They race up the infield part of the straight. 133 k's an hour, 6th gear, before back to 3rd spot. This is the slowest corner on the circuit right there. 45 k's an hour as they kiss the ripple strip. They grab another gear, 5th gear as they turn into the right-hander. Down into 2nd gear, 50 k's an hour, right there. This is where Iglesias is quick. He's super quick. He gets another brilliant run coming onto the straight. 139 k's an hour, one more time. DeConto, this time Iglesias can't get past him. Gee, Iglesias is so fast coming onto the straight, but this is where DeConto pulls away. Kramers, he's not out of this either. Hayek, Abbas, Lammers, Tiene, running 4th through to 7th. They're watching on. Could this become a 6-way battle for the lead? The gap was 0.08 of a second. The blind again goes down on the radiator. Maximum airflow going through into that TM engine of DeConto. He won at Sarno in Italy. He won at Genk in Belgium, but not without a fright from the driver who currently runs 3rd, Marijn Kramers, in the Birol Art. Into the Palmer chicane. Watch Iglesias out of here. He's super quick. There's Hayek, Abbas, Lemmers, the 2 Soddy carts. Abbas tries to go through on Hayek. Great horsepower from the TM power plant of Iglesias. A bit ragged through the chicane that time. DeConto's quick through there. Iglesias will close up if he can under brakes. Watch Kramers. Here comes the move up the inside. Nicely done by the Dutchman. Kramers goes P2. Iglesias, the Frenchman, back into 3rd. Well, he was leading a couple of laps ago, but he's going to be under severe pressure in just a few moments from Patrick Hayek and the 2 team Soddy carts of Anthony Abbas and Bas Lemmers. Kramers, can the young Dutchman take the fight to the reigning world champion Paulo DeConto? We'll gauge the gap for you next time across the line. This is where Iglesias is really quick through the Palmer chicane. Again, he gets another great run onto the straight. He'll try and retake Kramers. He's so quick out of there. The Frenchman in the Formula K kart. Hayek, he's got his own problems in the form of Abbas and Lemmers in the French Soddy carts. Iglesias is close to the back of the Dutchman into the aerodrome hairpin. Kramers closes the door. Here comes the move, surely. Indeed, it did come. Oh, a big accident between the 2 Soddy carts. The 2 Soddy carts have touched. You can see in the background the yellow flag is out, involving Abbas and Lemmers, the 2 teammates. The yellow flag is out. The cart is upside down. It is Anthony Abbas, the Frenchman, who is pinned under that Soddy cart. His teammate, incredibly, Bas Lemmers, is the one he touched. Paulo DeConto, he's pulling away. This is the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. The yellow flag is out. The race has been neutralised. Well, DeConto had a 1.3 second lead, but our attention turns to Anthony Abbas, the French driver who is up on his feet. You just got a glimpse of it, a spectacular crash at the slowest part of the circuit, and that's probably why he went upside down. They're only doing 45, at best 46 kilometres an hour through the left-hander. They go past the accident scene right there. There's Anthony Abbas. He was standing up. He is being attended to by the medical team. The race leader is Paulo DeConto. We'll get back to the actual race in a moment because our attention turns to the driver from the Soddy Kart racing team, the very likeable Frenchman, Anthony Abbas, from Nantes in northern France. Was looking at a podium, and now he's looking at going home in the back of an ambulance. Unfortunately, he is being attended to by the medical team on the entrance to the Suzuka S's. He was initially up on his feet. The kart was upside down as the field now form up on the start-finish straight. The race has been neutralised. Double waved yellow conditions. Anthony is up and walking, albeit assisted. That was a big impact, albeit at low speed. No doubt there'll be a little bit of shock for the Frenchman. He is up and walking. There he is, just on screen now. He does look to be okay, but certainly is out of this race. Although he's back down now, as he is obviously winded and being helped away by the medical team. The cart upside down, that's probably what did the damage. Anthony Abbas, the very likeable Frenchman, being helped away. Gets a round of applause from the crowd here in Spain, and he looks to be okay. That is good news for Anthony Abbas. The race is neutralised. They're coming around to complete lap number 13. Anthony Abbas, a huge impact just a few laps ago. But the Frenchman looks to be largely okay, and the ambulance, well, that's good to see. It is being waved away for Anthony Abbas. He will go over for medical attention anyhow. A very, very nervous impact. Nervous moment, I should say, that impact for the crowd here in Spain. Anthony Abbas joins Felice Tiene as the retirements from this race, but the Frenchman did it in all too spectacular fashion. We go back to the race. Anthony looks to be okay. Paulo De Conto's the race leader, and look what that has done. Jeremy Iglesias, he's back in contention. We are getting ready to go green next time round. Paulo De Conto's already accelerating away. Now he puts the brakes on. Jeremy is right behind him. We know what he's like off the starts. Here we go, one more time. There'll be 8 laps to go at the end of this one. This is where Jeremy has got a second chance at life, a second chance at taking victory here this afternoon. We go back green. Kramer's still in 3rd spot. Lemmers, he's 4th in the one of the 2 remaining Saudi karts. You just got a glimpse of Abbas's stranded machine on the infield. There is Lammers up the inside of his countryman. The 2 Dutchmen change positions. Lammers now up on the podium as De Conto already starting to skip away. We are back green through the Suzuka S's. The race order, Paulo De Conto, Jeremy Iglesias, Bas Lammers, Moraine Kramer's back to 4th. Hayek, Stan Pex, makes it 3 Dutchmen in the top 6. Simo Puhaka, Alex Irlando, Jorid Pex, Rek Dreesen, Gary Carlton, and the Tony Kart pilot Luca Corberi rounds out the field. De Conto, as smooth as you'd like through the Palmer chicane, and that's where Iglesias is super quick. He closes up on the back of the reigning world champion down into turn number 1 and 2. The 2 Dutchmen run 3 and 4. I'm talking about Lammers, the 2-time World Cup champion, and the fastest qualifier, young Moraine Kramers. As Rek Dreesen, the Belgian, the 2014 European champion, pulls into pit lane to join Abbas and Tiene as the retirements. The gap, 0.2 of a second between De Conto and Iglesias. They grab another gear, this part of the circuit, 133 k's an hour right there. Back into 3rd, through the left-hander. The equal slowest part of the circuit, 45 k's an hour right there. Up into 4th, 5th gear through the right-hander. Down into 2nd gear, 50 k's an hour through the Palmer chicane. Can Iglesias make anything up on De Conto? Onto the start-finish straight. That Formula K kart is like a rocket in a straight line. But here comes Bas Lammers. Can the Dutchman, the 2-time World Cup champion, take the fight up to the reigning world champion in the CRG? Lammers close to the back of the Formula K kart. He'll be nervous going into this next corner because that's where he came to grief with his teammate. Just a few laps to go. He decides to hold off. They work their way through the Suzuka S's at not more than 48, 49 k's an hour, up into 6th gear, 133 k's an hour right there. Lammers looks behind him. The challenge from Kramers is too far back. Lammers will make the move before this lap is out. Up the inside, no, Iglesias pulls away from him. And Iglesias is fast through this next part of the circuit. Bas Lammers tries the inside. Again, Iglesias closes the door. The gap was 0.4 of a second. Here comes the Dutchman. On the back of the Frenchman, side by side, almost down into turn number 1, into the chicane. 0.5 of a second now between these 2 drivers and the reigning world champ. Paulo De Conto, who has dominated world karting in the last 12 months. Lammers up the inside. Iglesias back to 3rd. Kramers also has a go at the back of the Frenchman. The Formula K driver desperate to stay up onto the podium. Then it's Kramers, then it's Hayek. We go back to Stan the Man Pex, the Dutchman who was on the podium at the last round of the series at his home circuit at Genk in Belgium. Kramers, the fastest qualifier, desperate to at least get up on the podium. Remember, he finished second last time out on what can also be considered his home circuit, even though he is a Dutchman. Lives just a few miles away over the Dutch border, or the Belgian-Dutch border, I should say. There is kart number 20, the Birrell Art, 139 k's an hour down into turn number 1 here at the Fernando Alonso circuit, the third round, the 2017 CIK FIA European Championships here in Spain. The gap out to 0.7 of a second. Kramers up the inside. Oh, Kramers muscles his way through. Hayek does the same. Iglesias now off the podium. He's back in 5th spot. 3 corners ago, he was in 3rd. Kramers looks behind, says, well, I want to get up to the podium. I want to take the fight, if I can, to not only Lammers, but if possible, to Conto. He's running out of time, though. Iglesias, behind him, another Dutchman. That's Stan Pex. Stan Pex up the inside. That was a nice move. That was too easy, in fact. Iglesias, has he got a problem? After taking the fight to the reigning world champion, he did lead this race earlier on, remember. He's back in 5th spot now, and now coming under pressure from Simo Puhaka in the second of the Cosmic Karts. 2.5 laps now remaining into the aerodrome hairpin here in the region of Asturias. Paulo De Conto through the Suzuka S's second spot. Bas Lammers, well, I'll tell you something, the gap is coming down. We thought Kramers would take the fight. Iglesias did take the fight. Bas Lammers says, boys, if you can't do it, I'll give it a go. The Dutchman into second spot, and he's carving 0.1 of a second out of the reigning world champion. It was almost 1 second. It's down to 0.6. Still a big ask for the 2-time World Cup champion. He's ragged through the Palmer chicane. There's Bas Lammers, head down behind the steering wheel, kissing 140 k's an hour here through this super technical Fernando Alonso circuit here in Spain. De Conto, the gap's down to 0.5 of a second. He's running out of time, but he is catching him. De Conto's driven a measured race. Can he hold on? You would think so, surely, with 1.5 laps to go. They go through the Suzuka S's, but Lammers driving the race of his life here in Spain. De Conto does not flinch. Lammers as hard as he likes. Siskia, more than 130 k's an hour, down into 3rd. The slowest part of the circuit right there. 4th gear, 5th gear. They sweep through this 5th gear flat out turn into the Palmer chicane. De Conto will come across the line now to take the last lap board. We'll gauge the gap for you. Lammers still trying as hard as he might. It's still 0.5 a second. It would require a disaster for the reigning world champion. Lammers has not given up hope here this afternoon. He's in second spot. He's on the podium. His countryman Kramers runs in P3. Hayek 4th. Stan Pex makes it 3 Dutchmen in the top 5. Lammers driving the wheels off that soddy kart. This is really his last opportunity. He is catching him. You can see it. But the driver he's got to pass has dominated world karting over the last 12 months. The gap now down to 0.3 of a second. Into the final part of the circuit. This is incredible. The reigning world champion won in Italy. The reigning world champion won in Belgium. He goes through the Palmer chicane for the final time. The checkered flag comes out. Paulo De Conto makes it 3 out of 3 and almost guarantees himself this year's European Championship. A brilliant drive by Bas Lammers, fastest second sector of the entire race to the Dutchman on the final lap, finishing just 0.2 of a second behind the CRG pilot. And congratulations also to Marijn Kramers, the fastest qualifier, again on the podium here in Spain. We take a look at the highlights of the race. Iglesias, again, awesome off the line. Jeremy ultimately finishing in 6th spot. The Frenchman did deserve better than that. He took the fight up to the reigning world champion. This was an awesome move down into turn number 1. He says, I don't care how many world championships you've won, I'm coming through. Jeremy Iglesias, side by side on DeConto, muscles his way past. DeConto back to 2nd. That was an awesome fight. DeConto retook the lead going into the Suzuka S's. Kramer's also forcing his way past Iglesias to take the final step off the podium here this afternoon. Lammers started quite a way back, but arguably drove the race of anybody here this afternoon. The Dutchman finishing in at P2. However, nobody could stop the reigning world champion. Paolo DeConto wins the 3rd round of the European Championships. He won in Italy, he won in Belgium, he has won here in Spain. An awesome drive, and credit also to the CRG racing team, powered by TM. DeConto has won. The Dutchman, Lammers and Kramers, 2nd and 3rd on the podium. Patrick Hayek, good drive into 4th spot. Also, the same can be said to Stan Pex. Commiserations to Jeremy Iglesias. A gutsy drive by the Frenchman. He took the fight right up to DeConto. Ultimately, Jeremy did deserve better than 6th spot, but we'll see him back at Kristianstad for the final round of the series. Simo Puhaka was 7th. The 2015 World Champion Europe Pex 8th, ahead of Alexi Orlando, and the American Gary Carlton in the 2nd Formula K kart rounds out the 10. Well, that's the scene here at the Fernando Alonso circuit here in Oviedo in northern Spain. And despite the red flag introduction in the OK final, we largely got through unscathed by the weather blowing in off the Bay of Biscay, the Atlantic Ocean, here in northern Spain. The 3rd round of the European Championships. From here, we go to Le Mans in France in 3 weeks' time before concluding the double header in Northern Europe, Alaharma in Finland and Kristianstad in Sweden on the last 2 weeks of July. Stay with us on CIKFIA.tv, the podium presentations for KZ, the 3rd round of the European Championships in just a few moments. To make their way up to the podium here, the KZ final, and we did get the race in before the rain came down. The weather's actually clearing a little bit here at Oviedo, the Fernando Alonso circuit here in the Asturias region of northern Spain. 2 Dutch drivers and an Italian will grace the podium in a few moments' time here at this magnificent complex, host venue of the 3rd round of the European Championships for 2017. Who can stop Paolo DeConto? I was going to say it's his year, but remember, he's the reigning 2016 world champion as well. He has dominated the first 3 rounds of this year's European Championships. We may not get the roar that we had earlier on in the junior and OK classes when there were Spanish drivers on the podium, but certainly a lot of credit for the 3 drivers, the 2 Dutchmen and the Italian, to make their way up to the podium in just a few moments' time. Of course, from here we go to Le Mans in France, 3 weeks' time for the 4th round of the championship before we conclude the double header in Northern Europe, Alaharma, Finland, somewhere up near the North Pole, and Kristianstad in Sweden, the final round of the championship on the last weekend in July. I think we have to go back to Le Mans 2015. Paolo DeConto finished 2nd on that day. I don't think he slept for a year. Boy, did he make up for it winning the World Championship, Kristianstad, last year, and everything he's done since has been victorious. The Bridgestone caps go on. And And we're ready to get underway with the podium presentation. He is the fastest qualifier. He put the Birrell Art on pole position. A great weekend for the Dutchman. Let's hear it for Marijn Kremers. Second place with a brilliant drive, also from Holland for Team Kart. Second place here today for Bas Lemmers. He won in Italy, he won in Belgium. He's the reigning world champion again. Winner of a European Championship race. Let's hear it for Paolo De Conto. And representing the winning CRG racing team, the 2009 world champion, Arno Kozlinski. As we stand by for the national anthem of Italy. The podium for the third round of the KZ European Championships here in Spain. I'd like to call on Senor Vital Valeprieto, Vice President of the Regional Federation of Asturias, to present the third place trophy to the Dutchman representing Birrell Art, Marijn Kremers. Senor Carlos Marquez Ron, President of the Regional Federation of Asturias, to present the second place trophy representing Circuito from the Netherlands, Bas Lemmers. Senor Gerardo Saez, Mayor of the town of Janera, to present the winning trophy again to the reigning world champion from Italy for CRG, Paolo De Conto. And Senor Angel Paniceres, representative of the Spanish Motorsport Federation, to present the team's trophy to CRG's Arno Kozlinski. As the girls step in to present the flowers to third place Marijn, second place Bas, and the winner again, Paolo De Conto. And we stand by for La Sidra de Asturias. The girls also to present the Panther fuel vouchers and the magnificent Avio Milano timepieces to third place Marraine, second place Bass, and also the winner Paolo De Conto. Third place, Marraine Kramer's fastest qualifier. Marraine, obviously no jet lag from racing all the way down under. Congratulations, a great weekend, not only for you, but also the Birrell Art Racing team here in Spain.
Yeah, thank you very much. We started off a bit rough in practice, but we got started for qualifying, got fastest time in qualifying, and then had some difficulties in the heats, but we managed to start fourth for the final. Got into third, I think. But these two were just too fast for me to keep up, and I'm happy with third this weekend.
Congratulations, Marraine Kramer's fastest qualifier and third place here today. Bass Lammers, all the focus was on Jeremy and Marraine. In the end, you only came second by 0.2 of a second. You almost caught Paolo. Great drive.
Yeah, it was an incredible race. First of all, I would like, I hope that my teammate Anthony Abbas is well, because he had an accident. So that is for me the more important at the moment, if he is doing well. But that on the race, it was an amazing race. From the beginning of the start, I felt the chassis was good and the engine was working well. And there was a lot of traffic. There was a lot of fighting between the drivers, and the front driver didn't go away because they were fighting as well. And then at the end, when the accident happened, there was a little bit the slow lap. And then from that moment, I felt the chassis was getting good, and I was able to push. And when I became second, the chassis was getting better and better by every lap, and I was able to catch Paolo, but it was not enough. So I'm very happy with the second place, and I would like to say a big thank to the Kart and TM Racing for the fantastic engines and chassis.
Congratulations, Bass Lammers, second place here today. E Paolo, di nuovo, facciamo adesso un appuntamento per Kristianstad perché hai vinto Sarno, hai vinto Genk, anche qui in Spain. We'll make an appointment for Kristianstad as well because you won in Italy, you won in Belgium. We'll just book the top step of the podium for Sweden as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you a lot to everybody. It was an amazing race, like you say, Bas. I hope for Anthony he stay well and make him better for everything. So because it's not good when one mate make a crash. So I hope the best for him. So for the race it was really long, especially in the beginning because Jeremy overtake me and I lost some place. Then I can catch him and overtake. And then the slow happened. And then the last 6 laps was really hard for me because the tire pressure was not okay, and I had a big problem. But I can make a small gap between me and the bus, so I can control it. And I want to say one thing to Fernando, and I hope he can see the video of the race because. I can say in Italian, please, it's much better. Fernando, voglio dirti che praticamente quello che ha scritto ieri sera Ralf Schumacher non è una colpa tua, perché alla fine il tracciato non è come ha detto Ralf, è pericoloso, ma il problema è stato che con i cordoli che dovevamo tagliare i cordoli, ogni sessione piegavamo qualcosa. È per quello che Ralf ha scritto questa cosa. Non ha scritto niente di male e spero che possa vedere il video e capire e migliorare la pista, perché alla fine non c'è tanto da migliorare, c'è solo qualche parte. È un po' pericolosa, ma sicuramente potrà modificarla e farla sicuramente molto, molto più sicura. Grazie.
Grazie Paolo. The KZ podium. Third place Marraine Kramer. Second place Bass Lammers. And the reigning world champion Paolo De Conto. We will see you in 3 weeks' time, Le Mans, France, for the 4th round of the European Championships. On behalf of the CIK FIA, WSK Promotion, the official promotions partner of the CIK FIA, and everyone here at the Fernando Alonso circuit here in beautiful Oviedo in Spain. Grazie Muchas gracias. Tutti voi. We'll see you in France in 3 weeks' time. Goodbye from Spain.